What is up, everyone? It is Sam from 64 Wheels, and it is Back to the Future Day. Back to the Future is my favorite trilogy of movies, and before us, we have the 1/64 scale San Diego Comic-Con limited edition that comes in the plutonium case, Hot Wheels Back to the Future 1 DeLorean. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to attempt as best as I can to explain the Four Delorean Theory with Hot Wheels. So the theory is that four DeLoreans existed at one place in one time during the whole trilogy of Back to the Future. This is basically where the various DeLoreans overlap time in 1955, but I'm going to explain why I think it's only a three DeLorean theory, and that some people call it three, some people call it four, but I'm going to say it's three, and I'm going to explain my thought behind that and show you either way how four DeLoreans were at the same place, almost at the same time, at one day in 1955. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So follow along, and if I mess up, I'm sorry, but I'll try to do my best here. So, okay, we'll start with the events of the first movie. Marty meets Doc at Twin Pines Mall at approximately 1 something in the morning to see the first time travel happen with Einstein the dog. So as they're doing that, you know, fans of the movie, the Libyans come. Marty ends up being the first time traveler after Doc gets shot by them, and he goes back to what Doc had set the time circuits to, which was Saturday, November 5th, 1955, the day he created the flux capacitor. So Marty takes this DeLorean and basically goes through the whole events of the first movie. He's there for a week, from the 5th until that next Saturday, November 12th, at 10:04 p.m. when the lightning strikes the clock tower and sends him back to 1985. So for the first movie, DeLorean A, this car, the OG, is there on Saturday, November 12th from midnight that morning until 10:04 p.m. that night, almost 24 hours. So we see this DeLorean go back to 1985. Doc drops Marty off at his house in 1985, and then we see that next morning everything had changed because the circumstances around the first movie. The McFlys are now successful, and Doc comes blazing back in the driveway with DeLorean B. The car can now fly. It has the hover mode, and they take it from 1985 to 2015 to help Marty, to try to save Marty's kids from getting arrested. So in the beginning of the movie, we see Marty take his son's place and basically get in a fight with Griff, Biff's grandson. They fly the hoverboards through the clock tower. It's an awesome scene. It's one of the most, like, I think, favorite scenes out of all the Back to the Futures that fans like. So during that, Jennifer, who was sleeping in the alley, got picked up, and she got taken to future Marty and Jennifer's house because she had the same thumbprint, right? So during that time, when Doc and Marty, they fly up to Hilldale and go try to get Jennifer from 1985 out of the 2015 Jennifer's house. Well, when they do that, 2015 Biff grabs a DeLorean from Hilldale and takes it back to Saturday, November 12th, 1955. So now there are two DeLoreans on the same day at the same time in 1955. Car A would be probably chilling in Doc's garage or on the trailer attached to his Hudson, ready to get transported to Hill Valley downtown to get the lightning rod attached to it, or, to set all that up. And then 2015 Biff went to 1955 Biff's house to give him the sports almanac. He was probably there in the early morning to early afternoon. He was not there for long because we see that he gives 1955 Biff the almanac and then he kind of disappears. So after that, he goes back to 2015. Marty and Doc get in the DeLorean. They go back to 1985, and that's where you see the skewed timeline. Like, everything is a mess. Biff has the courthouse casino. Everything is jacked. So he ends up getting, in a gunfight with Biff in the hotel, and Doc and Marty end up going back to the same date with DeLorean C, so A, B, C, to try and intervene when 2015 Biff gives 1955 Biff the almanac. So this is where, in my opinion, the most DeLoreans were that day. I'll tell you about the fourth, but this is my theory of why I think there's only 3. So we'll go back through it again. So this DeLorean was there on November 12th, 1955, from midnight to 10:04 a.m. or p.m. This DeLorean B, the one 2015 Biff flew, was there for the early morning hours, let's say an hour. Let's say it's 11 o'clock. He was there from 11 to noon. And then this DeLorean, DeLorean C, came back that night. Doc parked it behind the Line of State sign, sent Marty into town to spy on this Biff, who was giving 1955 Biff the almanac. So this DeLorean was there basically all day, almost up until the time this car goes back to the future by getting this action. So for basically an hour that day, all 3 of these cars were in Hill Valley at the same time at different locations. So this car was in Doc's garage awaiting to get the lightning strike earlier or later that day. This car, this is actually the only one we don't know the whereabouts of, is where Biff parked it in 1955, but it was in Hill Valley because it would have had been somewhere where he could walk to, because I don't think the bus route went out that far. And then, I mean, he could have taken a taxi, but it was in Hill Valley somewhere that day. The third one is the one from 2015 from the skewed 1985, and that one was behind the Line of State sign until the whole day. So that's where all 3 of these DeLoreans were. So technically, if you were a kid or someone in Hill Valley, you could have went to Doc's shop, seen this car under the cover, walked by this car wherever Biff from 2015 had parked it, and then walked by the Line of State sign and saw this DeLorean that Doc was in basically all day on Saturday, November 12th. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy that this is actually all the same car, just existing in different points in time. So this car's there all day. The 2015 Biff goes away. He flies it back, and it leaves Doc and Marty in the skewed 1985 timeline back to 1955 with the hover mode DeLorean in 1955. So there are still 2 cars, still 2 DeLoreans there until this car gets struck by lightning in the sky while it's flying and sends Doc back to 1885. At that time, this DeLorean disappears and the mine shaft DeLorean appears in the mine shaft. Why I think there are only 3 instead of 4 DeLoreans that day is because the mine shaft DeLorean doesn't technically appear. The ripple effect is not until DeLorean C gets struck by lightning and sends Doc back to 1885. If that event didn't take place, or until it took place, this DeLorean technically did not exist. Even though it was there the whole time, to me it was a ripple effect. It wasn't there the whole time because this had not occurred, even though it actually had occurred and Doc was already in the past. So it basically needed this to get struck by lightning to complete the loop to be in the mine. So that's why I don't think there are 4. But if you do subscribe to the theory that there are 4, it would work this way. DeLorean A, in Doc's shop until 10:04 p.m. that night. 2015 Biff, and the hover mode DeLorean for an hour sometime during the day. Doc and Marty in hover mode DeLorean C for basically that entire day just before 10:04 p.m. that night. And then the mineshaft DeLorean was in the mineshaft the whole time. So if you think that the time was retroactive and that the 4th DeLorean in the mineshaft DeLorean D was there the whole time because that's how the time travel thing worked, good for you. That is a theory. Time travel isn't real, so we just kind of all have to go off theories. But I like to think that it didn't appear until Doc got struck by lightning in this DeLorean C and sent back to 1885. So that is the 3/4 DeLorean theory, to where all 4 of these cars saw November 12th, 1955 over the course of all 3 Back to the Future movies. So either way, no matter which theory you like, it's super cool. Back to the Future is the greatest movie trilogy. I love it. I've seen it thousands of times. I have watched it so many times, I cannot even tell you. Had the VHS, the DVD, the Blu-ray, I'll watch it when it comes on TV. Love that movie. So I hope, as a Back to the Future fan, I did other fans justice by explaining this process and explaining this theory. I'm using these awesome Hot Wheels DeLoreans, which I will put an affiliate link in the description. So if you want to buy one, I'll put each one, because they are like this one's getting a little expensive now, but you can buy all the different versions and create your own timelines and play Back to the Future, and that's the cool part about it. So again, this is Sam from 64 Wheels. Really appreciate you watching. I hope that all made sense. If not, I'll have to do it again. It's like we're going back to the future. So thank you, like and subscribe, and we'll have a lot more cool videos coming, including a Back to the Future video where I unbox and show off every single 1/64 scale Back to the Future DeLorean that has ever been made, because I have them all. The Tomica, the Bandai ones, the Char Wheels one, all the Hot Wheels ones, the Johnny Lightning, all of them. So we're going to do them all and show them off. So hopefully I'll see you in the future. Thanks, guys.